So why don't you take a second, try and do the problem, and then after you are done, press pause on the video while you try and do the problem. And then after you're done making your attempt, we can continue the video and we can try and do this together. Okay, so it says each month a certain manufacturing company's total expenses are equal to a fixed monthly expense, some sort of monthly expense, plus a variable expense that is directly proportional to the number of units produced by the company during that month. So another expense, and this expense is proportional to the number of units. So number of units, some sort of variable rate or cost, and then a fixed cost. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. If the company's total expenses for a month in which it produces 20,000 units, so the 20,000 units right here, this is the 20,000 units, so this goes right here, and the total is $570,000. $570,000 right there. And the total expenses for a month in which it produces 25,000 units is equal to $705,000. Alright, I'm just adding our boxes again. What is the company's fixed monthly expense? So they want to know this one. They want to know the fixed monthly expense. We can add variables into these boxes now that we have some more information. We can call this X and we can call this Y. Right? This is the rate that you multiply your production by, and this is the fixed cost that you pay every single time. And now we are sitting here with two equations and two unknowns. And whenever you have two equations and two unknowns, you want to think to yourself, is it possible to solve for these two unknowns? Because you can do what's called a system of equations, right? So let's do that first. But the first thing let's do is let's get rid of these zeros. We're going to call this 25, and we're going to call this 20. We're going to call this 570, and we're going to call this 705. And we're just going to know that our answers are in thousands. Alright, that should hopefully make the math a little bit easier. Alright, so let's see what we got here. We got X is equal to Y times 20 equal to 570. Okay, so let's solve for X, and then let's plug that in to here. So we're going to take this equation. We are going to solve for X, and then we are going to plug that into this equation. So I'm going to do that over in this corner, and it's going to be X is equal to, I'm solving for X. I'm going to take this, I'm going to subtract it from the other side. Is equal to 570 minus 20y, right? So that's I've gotten rid of this 0, so it's 20 times y, which is 20y. So 570 minus 20y, so that's what we have here. So now I know that x is equal to this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this x, and what it equals, I'm going to plug that right into x for this equation. So now what we know is that instead of x, we're going to write 570 minus 20y right here in parentheses, plus 25y is equal to 705. Okay, so now we have this, and we can try and solve for y. Alright, so negative 20y plus 25y is equal to 5y. That's good. And then we've got a plus 570 here. So now we need to get rid of the 570. So we have 705, and we're going to get rid of the 570 on this side by subtracting it over here. Okay, so 705 minus 570, I'm just going to jump on my calculator because I don't want to use up too much room here. 705 minus 570 is going to equal 135. Okay, so there you go. So this is going to equal 135 is equal to 5y, and therefore y is going to equal 135 divided by 5. 135 divided by 5 is 27. So we're looking at 27. So y is equal to 27. Now that we know that y is equal to 27, we can take this and we can plug it into our first equation. Alright, so we used our first equation, we solved for x, we put what x was in terms of y into the second equation, we solved this for y, we found out what y equals. Now we're going to plug y in to our first equation. Alright, so let's do that right over here. So now we have x plus, and now y is 27. So we got 27 multiplied by 20 is equal to 570. Alright, so that's what we're doing right here. 27 times 20 is 540. So we've got x plus 540 is equal to 570. So we subtract 540 from here, and then we get 30, and we get that x is equal to 30. Now remember, our units are in thousands. So the answer is going to be 30,000, or